My name is Philip Lamsens, and I'm the presiding chair of the Multicultural Alliance this year. And on behalf of our board of directors, we'd like to thank everyone for all your support of our mission and all of our programs. But before we get started and go into too much detail, I want to tell you a little bit about myself and my involvement with the MCA. My involvement with the MCA has been somewhat long-standing. In fact, you could probably say it's been longer than I've been alive. You see, when I say I've been a part of the MCA for a long time, it's really been something of a family tradition. Back when we were called the National Conference of Christians and Jews, or the NCCJ for short, because that's kind of a long-winded explanation of things, and she's nodding her head, I like that. My grandfather, Frank Crumley, served on the board, and he was the 13th honoree in 1967. Thank you. Back in the 1980s, my father was involved in the organization as well, and his name was Jim Lamsens. And in speaking with other attorneys that used to work for him, I'm told that he either invited or instructed some of these young lawyers to join him at these dinners. And I think whether it was an invitation or an instruction kind of depends on your point of view. So I only got one point of view, so I'll have to go with that one. But this is not what made me want to be involved with the MCA. Several years ago, I got invited to attend my first dinner much like this one. And it was at this annual dinner that reminded me of something that I hadn't thought of in many years. It reminded me that back in 1991, when I was a sophomore in high school, I attended Camp Anytown, which is what we now call Camp Community. The dinner reminded me of all the experiences, the great experiences that I had while I was at camp, and the many things that I learned while I was there. And after thinking about it a little bit, after I'd gone home, I realized how many of the things that I had learned at camp had shaped my beliefs and the way that I lived my life. So a few years later, when I was approached to serve on the board, I jumped at the opportunity to help spread the MCA's message with the hope that it will have a big impact on others the same way that it had an impact on me. But I didn't know where to start. So I started with, the low-hanging fruit. I started with my family. 2 years ago, my oldest son, Carter, attended Camp Community, and he loved it. He did what any good son would do. He humored his father, and he went into something that he had no idea what it was, and came out of it with glowing praise. My middle son, Blake, let's just say Blake is being volunteered to go this year. But to be fair to Blake, Blake has got a great attitude about it because he's heard his older brother say such great things about it, as well as his brother's friends. And on top of that, his brothers even told him that this is something that he needs to do. So I cannot think of anything being more of a glowing recommendation from one brother to the other than saying, yes, you need to go, as opposed to, yeah, Dad's going to make you go, so you might as well just suck it up and deal with it. And last but certainly not least is my mother, Kathleen, who's joined me here today, and she is currently participating in the Interfaith Dialogues with Q, from what I understand, who I didn't realize when I met him earlier. But my hope is that their experiences with the MCA will be as beneficial to them as it has been with me, and that they too can help promote the MCA's mission, which is to eliminate bias, bigotry, and oppression.